Welcome to Chapter 5 review of the book, The E-Myth Enterprise, How to Turn a Great Idea into a Thriving Business by Michael E. Gerber. We've been reading Chapter 5, the second category of preference, the emotional ideal. Okay, so in the second category for preference, the emotional ideal, the author really speaks of how business affects people from an emotional standpoint and how to align your business in a way that is going to really touch the heart of your customer or the person that you're in service to. Okay, so actually before we actually grow through the chapter and look at some of the key points the author said, we're going to go to the end, and we're going to review the rules. Okay, we're just going to read that again for you, give you a little summary of the chapter as it was at the end. Okay, the second category of preference is the emotional ideal. There are 7 rules that will help you build an emotionally vital enterprise. People need order. They need to know that there is a structure, a logic, a foundation, a clear set of standards, of principles, of fairness about the business and the job they are there to do. People need to feel heard. That's number 2. They need to know that their contribution is important, that no matter where they stand in relationship to the business, as employees, as customers, as suppliers, as lenders, that what they want matters, that there is a channel through which they can express what matters to them, and that the channel is always open. Number 3, people need to feel connected to something bigger than themselves. If business has small aims, it is simply interested in surviving and staying in business, it will not sustain them. It will not touch them. It will not engage them. No, the business has to take on something, no matter what kind of business it is, in an important way. People need to have purpose. They need to have a plan. They need to be going someplace specific in a specific amount of time. Without purpose, people begin to wallow. They become suspended in time. They become a drag on each other, begin to feel victimized, and lose track of time. People need to feel that what they are doing has more weight. The business has to be concerned about what is right for themselves, what is right for others, and what is right for the world. The business has to operate with conscience. Without conscience, a business is a drag on the little self-esteem people already possess. Number 6, people need to feel that what they personally do is important. They need to feel that the enterprise, without them, wouldn't matter as much. That when they walk in the door, something vital is added to the business, something only they can bring to the table. That if they're no longer there, the business wouldn't be the same. People need to feel that the people associated with them love them, that no matter what, people care. Some of you might argue that the emotional ideal is not as important as great products, great services, and competent management. Trust me, it is at least as important. So, as you can see, in the takeaway points that Michael E. Gerber wrote at the end of chapter 5, he started every single point with people need. Okay, so from that in itself, to really understand business and what business is all about is really getting into the people's needs. Okay, so we can say that Michael E. Gerber taught us, or that if you tend to people's needs, you're going to tend to their hearts. Okay, I'm going to say that again. If you tend to people's needs, you're going to tend to their hearts. So that means that if you're trying to run a business that has the emotional ideal, the second category of preference, you got to tend to their needs. The first thing is that people need order. They need to know that there is a structure, a logic, a foundation, a clear set of standards, of principles, a fairness about the business and the job they're there to do. Which means when running a business, it can't be out of order. right? You got to make sure your home is in order, right? They say that. But listen, if you're running a business, it has to be in order when it relates to the people that's coming in it. There has to be a structure to it. There has to be a way that you do a business. There has to be processes and procedures. There has to be certain values that you stand by. There has to be certain things that I know that, listen, there's principles, standards, and fairness about the business. We're living in a cancel culture. And somebody asked me, what's a cancel culture? Cancel culture now is, it don't matter how long you've been in business. What really matters is whether or not we collectively as a society want you to stay in business based on the values that you have. So that means you might have a 1905 company, and we're like, yo, your morals, your standards, your values, the way your order is not for us. We are not rocking with it. Next thing you know, there's a whole campaign says cancel your company. Your company's not canceled. You're still operating, but now your sales went down. All these other things. That's because the society we live in now is a cancel culture. And that's because we are now understanding that, look, we don't have to do business with people we don't like. And if you are going to be unlikable, we are choosing not to do business with you. Okay, so that's really the big concept. So order. Make sure there's some structure and order in your business. Now, even if it's digital, even if your business is digital, it has to be ordered and organized. That's why I like to keep the tribe ordered and organized, where you can find content. When you know what it's about, you know, okay, this is the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe. This is a community for healers and seekers of wellness to come together with coaches and motivators to equip themselves with tools and resources, holistic tools, and learn holistic practices and routines that's going to improve the overall quality of their life. Hey, this is what we stand for. These are the pillars that we stand for. This is what we have going on. These are the classes. This is when we have the classes. This is how we communicate to you. There's an order within the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe, even though there's not a building, but it's a business. Because a business is only an idea in the minds of people, right? Because when you say I'm waking up and I'm rising and priming, you're not going to a place. You're going to a Zoom call. But you're referring to a business. You're referring to an event. That's because there's an order. And when you show up to Rise and Prime, I always want to make sure that I hear what you're saying. So the next one is tending to the need to want to be heard. A lot of people have customers and they ask them for feedback, but when they give them the feedback, they don't do nothing with it. And at the same time, some businesses don't even have a chance for people to voice themselves. So people need to feel heard. They need to know that their contribution is important, that no matter where they stand in relationship to the business, as employees, as customers, as suppliers, as lenders, that what they want matters, that there is a channel through which they can express what matters most to them, and that channel is always open. Like his saxophone teacher. All right, so there was a saxophone teacher in this book where the author, Michael E. Gerber, that was his teacher. And there was a certain way he did things that, look, some people run businesses and it don't really look like they're running businesses. Because it's a business, but to you that's something you're learning from. So he would show up to his teacher and he was so certain about what he does. He said that his teacher actually drank. So this man drank like alcohol, right? So his teacher actually drank, and he said that this man would show up to do the lessons and I wouldn't even know. He had an order about him. Like, yo, how do you drink alcohol and you show up to teach somebody how to play the saxophone, but they ain't got no clue? He was like, man, I was very surprised to know that, look, he drank every student, but yet he had an amount of control. So the order is not just how your place is looking like, how your space is looking like. Order also has to do with the way that you present yourself. Okay, but we're talking about how people need to feel heard. So I guess we kind of got a little bit off track there. But people need to feel heard. what people really need and demand from life is not wealth, comfort, or esteem, but games worth playing. He who cannot find a game worth playing is apt to fall prey to a city. I don't know what that means. Defined by the fathers of the church as one of the deadly sins, but now regarded as a symptom of sickness. A city is a paralysis of the will, a failure of the appetite, a condition generalized of boredom, total disenchantment. So guess what? When we think about a business, like Liz was saying earlier, look, people need games worth playing. So think about it. If you had a life and you couldn't and you had nothing to do with it, wouldn't it be kind of whack? It'd be very bored. So when you have a gift, why don't you play a game in delivering that gift? So I like the way the author puts it, because what people really demand from life is not wealth, comfort, or esteem, but games worth playing. They want to stay active. They don't want to be idle. People don't want to have nothing to do with their life. But usually, people don't do what they want to do. They just do something mundanely. Let's take, for example, the next example he went to when he spoke about the founder of this holistic massage institute, Merle. So, no, Merle was his teacher. So I don't want to mess up the names of the characters here. But he then went to speak about this other woman, and she was like a massage therapist or something. Okay, so Mary had a lot of skill sets, but she went to this place and she just had a plumbing job, and she's like, yo, I'm gonna do this plumbing job, I could do it. And she was like, man, I never learned nothing about plumbing, but there was something about the space that made her feel welcome. So she kind of enjoyed it, but after a while she's like, yo, I don't know if I want to do this. It's becoming like a little prison for me. Like, yeah, I'm comfortable here, but this ain't working for me. So Mary found out that, like, yo, it's not working for me. She thought that, like, yo, doing the plumbing and like I was able to learn this really fast and it would work for me, but it wasn't. So she had to get out of there. Hey, let me find the actual points so I can read it for you. There it is. Here I was working as a plumber. For God's sake, when just a few months before I could have told you the difference between a pipe wrench and a hammer. At Twin Trees, my restlessness, what I thought of at the time as my search, became focused less on the question of what to do with my life than on what do I want to do with my life. Look, she said it switched from focusing on what to do with my life to what do I want to do with my life. I want you to this is really powerful, because what she's saying here is, at first she says, oh, what to do with myself? Like, yo, I don't know what to do with myself right now. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to be. What do I do with myself? What do I do with my life? And then I think what shifted was so powerful was like, yo, what do I want to do with my life? Like, when that happened for Mary, I think something really powerful happened for her, because she now realized that, like, brother, sister, I got a choice. You know, I got a choice on what I want to do. How do I want to move forward? So while most people, they don't necessarily know that, is that you do have a choice of what you want to do to move forward. And then another part in this book, the E-Myth Enterprise, that was really interesting for me was when the author specified that, like, you don't sort of know how it become, like, he was talking about these big companies. He's like, did Mary know she was gonna own this big yoga certification studio? Like, she did not know all of that stuff. All she knows is there was a game worth playing, and she was excited to start to do that. Look, that realization, there was a huge difference between those two questions, opened up a whole new world to me. The two questions that opened a new world to her was when she said, look, it switched from the question of what do I do with my life to what do I want to do with my life. Wow. Okay. So she was saying like, yo, so she was working at Twin Trees as a plumber, and she said Twin Trees had become its own sort of prison, a place so charismatic, so seductive, yet so oppressive. She knew she had to get out. Have you ever been in a space or a place that is good to you, but you feel like I can't be good to it anymore because I have to grow out of here? So that's where Mary left. So the very next day, I literally escaped in my visitor's car by hiding on the floor behind the driver's seat. She had $18 to her name. She had no idea what she was going to do next. But guess what she said? Mary said she loved it. Look, so you at a place where things are going all right, but it became a prison. Mary said, I gotta get out of here. So she escaped in the visitor's car. She hid behind the driver's seat, and she only had $18 to her name. And then, apparently, this was a while back, she rented a room for $15 a week. I feel you on that, Amina. So she rented for $15 a week in a boarding hotel, only $3. So then she started doing hustling survival money. Okay, so let me tell you, she wasn't into this massage thing. This woman, Mary, was not into this massage thing up until she met somebody that she only met because she took a leap. She took a chance. Like Steve Harvey said, she jumped, right? She said here, unlike home, college, and the commune, there was no rules on the street. No ritual to which Mary had to conform. No one told her what she had to do or that she had to do anything. Yo, this is a powerful part. Look, when you go the uncomfortable route, the route that's different, listen, there aren't gonna be rules. There aren't good like society's rules and rituals and like things you normally thought you had to do transform. On page 98, Tanya, I know you're reading along with us. I'm on page 98. So look, unlike home, college, and the community, there was no rules. So when there's no rules, you start to have to create your own rules, the order. When there's no rituals, you start to have to create your own rituals. So that's kind of what happened to me, myself, and I when I was homeless. A whole thing shifted for me. My idea of what life meant shifted because it was like work, like, and then I started to see what living was about. So she made it up as she went along, creating her own rules, her own aims. I want y'all to read how powerful this is. Some people are not starting their businesses, their brands, they process because they don't know what to do. They don't know how it's gonna look like. So it's like, I don't know, like what am I building? Look what it says. She made it up as she went along. Listen, your progress is gonna make up your success. Okay? Your progress is gonna make up your success. So what I mean by that is, as you just say, I'm gonna take the leap, and you keep working on that thing, it's gonna unfold itself. Okay? So as a fast student, she learned the difference between the two. Okay? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now let's go back down. On the other hand, the emotional vitality of a company's people is always a function of the emotional vitality of the founder or the CEO of that company. So a lot of you are, look, whether or not you believe it or not, you are the CEO of your life. You are the chief executive officer of your life. And the way you live that is going to bleed into your business. That's why your business is a replication of your character. Your business is a replication of your character and the delivery of your gift. So the tingly feeling that people get from Holistic Lifestyle Tribe, that's because I built it with my energy, baby. You know what I'm saying? I put my energy in there. So how you feel about the brand and the company is in relation to the CEO, okay? And you had yesterday I had an epiphany how much bigger what I'm doing is. And here's the thing, you don't know how it's going to unfold, but you just have to trust the process you're in. So I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, what I'm doing now is building a structure, a vehicle of which could be an empowerment for many other people where they can host Rising Primes, where they can be like, where I can have various sections of the holistic lifestyle. I'm like, yo, this is way bigger. And I'm like, oh, okay. I just have, in this term, I have to be of service to the few in such a way where that service becomes a culture, and then I have to scale the culture, and then scale the culture. Now it has become something that I like with my sweat, blood, and love put into it. Now I just replicate it. Now we got people all around the world doing their own Rising Prime sessions. We got corporate contracts. We got different stuff happening in IRL. Okay, so it's a reliable axiom that dead CEOs create dead companies. Okay, CEOs who are satisfied with themselves create self-satisfied companies. Dull CEOs create dull companies. Belligerent CEOs create belligerent companies. Adventurous CEOs create adventurous companies. Fearful CEOs create fearful companies. What goes around comes around. Okay? So most companies fail because there's something missing, some key and critical component left out. The CEO is adventurous but lazy, so the details don't get worked out. The CEO is passionate but stupid, so there is force but in the wrong direction. The CEO is dissatisfied with himself or herself but places blame on his or her people instead. So the search turns into a witch hunt. Or the CEO is a genius but crazy, so the energy of his or her genius is transformed into a stew pot of confusion. I found these because there's a few CEOs I know that could go right in there. So it was very interesting. Look, if you want to understand Steve Jobs, look no further than Apple. If you want to understand Howard Schultz, take a good look at Starbucks. Conversely, look at Apple to understand Jobs. Look at Starbucks to understand Schultz. So your business, your nonprofit, your organization should be able to resemble your characteristics, your character, in addition to serving your gift. So that's why it says, like, if you look at the company, you should be able to tell about the CEO. Okay? So literally, this is your baby. Your brand, your business, your idea, this is your baby, and you are the parent. All right? So this game we call business is a delicate yet highly connected thing. And I'm going to go back to the game called business. Now, Gary Vee, a serial entrepreneur and one of the leaders in the digital marketing space. Yesterday, I watched one of his clips. He was like, yo, I love business. Business is a beautiful game. But here's what he said. He said this. He said, I love to see how basketball players, they can play with each other, like want to dominate. Like, I'm about to beat you, boy. I'm about to beat you. And at the end, they'll still give each other respect. Say, good game. How you doing? How you feeling? How the family doing? And it's not like if I win, you can't win. If I win, you can't be winning. It's just that I choose to focus on my winning and you focus on doing what you're doing. So business is a game. At the same time, we don't do it at the demise of others, right? One of the major principles I learned in the beginning of this was you don't want to gain at the expense of others. Okay, because that's when you get out of integrity, out of character, out of alignment with some divine laws. Like you don't want to create something that's going to make you money, but it's at the expense of others. So if we went back to the key takeaway points, people need to feel connected to something bigger than themselves. If the business has small aims, is simply interested in surviving and staying in business, it will not sustain them. It will not touch them. It will not engage them. No, the business has to take on something, no matter what business it is, in an important way. A business is just a vehicle for you to spark change. For you to take, like, you look at something in the world and you said, like, yo, something about this can be changed. And I'm going to be the one to shift it. I'm going to be one of the ones to help that change happen. So from that point, you say, like, yo, I'm going to make a change in this industry. So your business has to be bigger. Like, when I think of my company, I'm like, yo, I want to eradicate sedentary lifestyles to empower people with no intentions of change. Actually, I wrote that a while back. to elevate. Like, I actually wrote that 7 years ago. So crazy. And you don't know how it unfolds. And it might look like this in its first season, and it looks like that in the second season. It doesn't look like the same. I've been doing the same mission because I had order in different fashions. My mission in life is to inspire, motivate, and uplift individuals to take a holistic approach by having a sound mind, sound body, and an in-tune spirit, which creates loving relationships. And I do that by teaching these certain things. And I do that through these vehicles, through speaking, through coaching, through this, through writing. So this is my mission. This is how I do it. So it has to be big. Look, if it's not bigger than yourself, then you're not gonna be able to make people feel like they have a purpose, which goes to the fourth one, that people need to feel like they have a purpose. They need to have a purpose. They need to have a plan. They need to be going someplace specific in a specific amount of time. Without purpose, people begin to wallow. They become suspended in time. They become a drag on each other. They begin to feel victimized and lose track of time. So one of the major things you want to have in your business is you can't have people feel like you're here for me to take your money. That's not business. That's called robbery. Okay? You're here for me to take your money. Give me your money. No, you are here so I can serve you. I can support you. And at the same time, you have a reciprocity for my services, for my support. So with that being said, people need to have purpose. They need to have a plan. They need to be going someplace. One of the major objectives of your business should be to help lead that person to that place. That's really the outcome of which the person seeks for. Like, yo, what is the outcome? Like, why would I join a daily rising routine every day at 7 a.m. when I could sleep in? Well, obviously, if I'm going to join your daily rising routine at 7 a.m. every day so I can sleep in, I must want an outcome. I must want to have this type of life. I must want to have I must want to heal. I must want to I must want to able to bring my gifts out and empower people. So that has to be a primary focus. That has to be something that you shine in your marketing. The purpose of what, like, I tell you all the time, like, look, if you want to join a community of healers, seekers of health and healers, coaches and motivators, and I say, look, if you want to do this, this, and that, if you're looking for a community, this, and that you can grow with, if you want to find your tribe, if you want to boom, this and that, all of these things are purpose. Yesterday I spoke about, when I said 6 ways of having a great day is to have purpose. People need to feel what they're doing has more weight. The business has to be concerned about what is right for themselves, what is right for others, and what is right for the world. This is one of the most important components of business today, and everybody should pay very close attention to this. We're living in a society where we're not taking your sugar honey iced tea. If you are masking your bad as good, and we find out, we are not doing business with you. At least if we know you're doing bad. So that means ethics is playing a bigger role. And we can tell that you want to have more weight. Listen, your business is just an umbrella for your mission. Overall, all of us is here to empower each other. For me, let's give you from a spiritual Christian perspective. Allow me to share my beliefs with you. I believe that God bestowed a gift within all of us to help build his kingdom. Right? Get your anxiety. God puts gifts in us to build his kingdom. And in his kingdom, there are no systems of man. There are no LLCs. There are no tax brackets. And God's system is much different. So, because God, to do God's mission on earth, kingdom building, is to fulfill out what God gave you, the seed of your gift, and to bear fruit. Now, because we live in the systems of men, we can't say, oh, the system is not conducive to my gift because it's not like it should be. We got to package up our gift as a business We got to package up our gift as an LLC, because that's what we're doing. We are understanding that we are in this world. We're not of this world, but we got to use some of the structures, its systems, to deliver our spiritual gifts to this world. So business is just a service of your spiritual gift in the form of an LLC, 501c3, S Corp, corporation, etc. So what I'm saying is, whether you're B2B or B2C, you are serving your customers, your lenders, your borrowers. You are serving your employees and your lenders, your customers, your employees, your lenders. So you're like, yo, basically this is a structure for me to deliver what I have. Now, let's say my life work that God bestowed upon me was evangelism, like for me to educate people, for me to teach. If I say, okay, I want to do evangelism and teach, and I don't put that in a business, it's gonna limit how much teaching I can. Because now I have to go do another layman job, another work, just to be able to do that. But what you can actually do is merge your gift and your way of service into a company, and then guess what? What you're doing automatically has some more weight, because it's way deeper than, oh, I want to make money. It's like, yo, this is what I was here to do. I'm just going to put it in the form of a business. So shout out to Tanya. Look, I have anxiety. This is anxiety with lemon balm, lemongrass, and vervain, available on my shop. Go to theholisticmotivator.com/online store, or click the link in my bio to get your anxiety. Okay, it's a very powerful tea blend. It's definitely going to help reduce stress from your body. So, Amina, Supernatural. I am Supernatural. Go check that anxiety out. You won't regret it. It's only $8, and it's fresh from my garden. So let's get back here. People need to feel that what they do is personally is important. They need to feel that the enterprise without them somehow wouldn't matter as much. That when they walk in the door, something vital is added to business, something only they can bring to the table. Something that they feel like if they were no longer in their business wouldn't be the same. Just know people's names. Remember the last detail they told you the last time they came to your store. See them as a human being. Like, one of the major things lately that's been kind of transforming me in my coaching business, and that's the business that I'm in, the coaching business, the healing teaching business, the motivation business. Okay, yeah, that tea is delicious, man. You got to get yourself some. Yo, so it's like, lately what's been hitting me a little bit deeper has been this. I'm realizing that, like, yo, I'm not like everybody I'm dealing with, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, and I had an episode called Business is All About People. I'm dealing with people. Like, I'm dealing with, like, when I send a mass text message, these are all people. When I send emails, it's people. When there's one view on Instagram and they left a comment, that's a person. So, like, I know it's like, okay, yeah, I know that. That's obvious. But I really want you to start to think, because a lot of times when you're running your business, you might just like, okay, you're running into so many different people, right? And you're just like, okay, these are potential customers, potential people who want to buy my service or product. And you forget that they're people. You forget that they're human beings. So if you just remember that these are human beings, these are people with individual lives, different stuff, man, it's going to be transformative. I don't know how to explain that any more than to just say it like that the people you're dealing with are people. And once you do that, you're going to give them a certain amount of importance. You're going to see them more. People want to feel, they want to be felt, they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be understood. And then once you're able to see that there are people who are just looking to help, once you understand there are people who just needs your services, there are people who just needs a little support from you, then you're going to start sharing such love. Because that's all it is. Shout out to you, Amina, for getting your tea. I'm telling you, that's what I found out, and ever since I discovered it, I've been kind of like replying back to my text messages more closer. I've been like I've been more attentive. Like I've really been thinking about like, yo, this person text me? Did I reply to that person? I'm really been thinking about like, this person showed up in the room. Did I acknowledge their presence in the room? I'm really thinking about like, what did I say? Did this might hurt this? Like, how's this person going? Like, what is this person going through right now? Can I be a little bit more compassionate? And I feel like the more I add those over, the more I'll be able to keep people around my corner longer, so that way we could keep growing together. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it from business terms, you can say retain your customer. But in reality, what you're really doing is you are being such a good person. You're relating as a human being to another human being, that they want to stick around you. They want to stick by your side. They want to grow alongside you. They want to show up to your store. They want to buy your product, because you are vibing with them. Like, you feel me, I feel you. You see me, I see you. Right? We have to understand business is not transactional. It's emotional. That's what the emotional ideal speaks of. We're dealing with people, and just like each of these says, people need. What are the needs of people, and are you tending to those needs? What are the needs of people, and are you tending to those needs? All right. So, shout out to Amina. Shout out to Midlife and Times. Listen, I'm happy you resonated with that, because one of the things that I really, really, really stepped into was that information. Okay, so you want to actually love them. Look, that people need to feel that the people they associate with love them. That no matter what, people care. Some of you might argue that the emotional ideal is not as important as great products, great services, and competent management. Trust me, it is at least as important. So this one sums it all up. The need for love. So these are just basic human needs. And if you start to look at people, like you're serving your gift to other people and they have basic human problems, and you think to yourself, how do I help them more and more? You're just gonna automatically win. Right now, I'm adding so much different stuff, and I'm switching different components. I'm literally thinking down to the teeth. Like, yo, what's Liz going through today? And what does she need today that my product and service can provide? I'm thinking about, like, what does Tanya need for the day? Like, what could she possibly be going through at 4 p.m. in the afternoon? And how can I serve Tanya or Liz or Amina or midlife and times? Like, it's all about service, and I'm thinking about it as names. So Don texts me, and I'm saying, like, I know people's names because that's how close I've been getting to building community. I saw your YouTube video. Now that YouTube video got 15 views. Now somebody says, damn, 15? You should got 1,500. I know it should be 1,500, but it's 15. But there's one person who watched that and is a person who's so interested in what I have to say, wants to know, is how do I find out more about this Rise and Prime? What is that? And I'm oh, here, bro, here's how you tell me about it. Text me. So now this person goes there and keep listening and says, hey, you should, maybe this is a suggestion. This is a person. This is not a follower. This is not a customer. It's a human being. So now, as I'm sitting here through the day, I'm like, okay, what do I need to create today to serve what these people are going through at this moment? And because I'm going to make it so good, these people, they should pay me for it. Right? They should say, like, yo, this is so valuable to me. Take my money. And that's why I charge for it. But it starts with, there is a problem. There is a need that my talent can provide that's not at the demise of others, that I'm going to then provide because I understand how valuable it is and how important it is and how useful it is and how beneficial and transformative it can be. Just like you watching this review, I'm here just reviewing a chapter of a book that I read. I'm bringing this book because I initially thought about it. Look, healers, coaches, seekers, not only do they need to build themselves, but they got businesses, they got brands they're building. So they don't just need support on how to clear their mind, clear their body, manifest, affirm. They also need practical information on creating their companies and businesses. And that's why we're reading entrepreneurship books in this season. That's why our next read is going to be Think and Grow Rich. It's a classic. Many of you have probably read it already. Last year we read more books towards healing. This year we're going to read a lot of more books about entrepreneurship because we want to have a great mixture. And then when we get to the certain time during the spring season, around the detox, we're going to do something about detoxing, clearing, healing. But that's because I'm actively thinking about what do people need in different seasons and how do I provide them. And then now the next thing to market is like, how do I get them to know that I offer this solution to their problem or this solution to their need? And then now the gap, my marketing is telling them that this is what I do. This is my gift. This is how I serve. This is how I can help you overcome this situation. So if you want to overcome it, join this product. So basically, I've created enough order, scale, detail, information. Remember, the 6 components are, for the first category, are scale, order, detail, information. That's for the previous chapter. So if you want to tap into chapter 4, on my YouTube channel, The Holistic Motivator, I have all of the book club reviews. If you're just now tapping in on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, this is the book we're reading. E-Myth Enterprise, How to Turn a Great Idea into a Thriving Business by Michael E. Gerber. And we are on chapter 5. So I read it one day and then I review it the next. Every week we've been doing that. Next week we're going into chapter 6. Wednesday is our reading day. We're going to read chapter 6 on Wednesday. I definitely recommend you read it ahead of time before you actually listen to me read it. Make sure you are your own student. Become a serious student. Learn by yourself. Be self-directed, self-motivated. However, I've added these powerful reviews at the end just to help you kind of like grow through the book. So if you want that, one of the easiest ways to access it is by going to the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe. So if you text me, in fact, if you text me book club, I'll send you the playlist. Okay? Text book club to my number. So let me put that down. Text book club to my number. So once you text book club to 561-510-9605, I'm going to send you the playlist for our current reading. Okay? So I'm going to send you the playlist for our current reading. Okay, so y'all text book club to this number. I'm going to put it down here for y'all just so you know how to get access to it. So text book club to 561-510-9605. If you think this was so powerful for you and you are actually interested in reading or listening to the previous chapters and then following along with the chapter reviews, and you're not part of the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe, then I just want you to text book club to 561-510-9605. Okay, just text book club to 561-510-9605. That way you're going to get access to the Zoom. You're going to get access to the playlist. Okay, and for those of you who are more interested in what I have to offer as it relates to the community, the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe, what you're watching right now is only a component of my overreaching community called the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe, which is a powerful community for seekers of wellness, healers, teachers, coaches, and motivators. We come together every day as a powerful mastermind because a lot of times we are the one pouring into others without pouring into ourselves. So by feeding your mind with positivity, by doing some breath work, some movement, some affirmations, and tapping into a personal development subject or business mastery subject to help you grow every single day, and then also doing journaling prompts, that holistic routine creates certain habits, holistic habits. And as you adopt those practices, and then you take those holistic habits and holistic practices and you use them in a holistic routine long enough, you start to create what I call a holistic lifestyle. And what this holistic lifestyle does for you is it starts to create a new paradigm of living, and it starts to ensure that many categories in your life are actually in one, right? You don't just have one part mastered, finances, but you got faith, you got family, you got fitness, right? So a lot of times we're only focused, most of our focus is only on getting what we want as it relates to surviving. But we don't necessarily always think about thriving. And what I mean by that is we have to also shift our focus towards thriving. And that is when we look at it like, yo, it's not just about what you make. It's about what you make of the life you have. Like, yo, the time you spend with your kids, the time you spend with your family, the stuff you create in the world, right? The way you treat your body, the way you treat other people, all of these things are all important, right? Life is not black and white, man. And we live in a world where we are just running a rat race sometimes, and we don't sit back and appreciate. We don't sit back and stay in gratitude. We don't sit back and just enjoy the presence of, right? And we got to begin to enjoy the presence of. So that's what mindfulness does. That's what holistic living is about. Holistic living is not this woo-woo subject, man. It's not a religion. It's not nothing crazy. It's just that you make a dedication that you're going to look at your life from a holistic lens. That's what I said. My mission in life is to empower, motivate, and uplift individuals to take a holistic approach to life by having a sound mind, sound body, and in-tune spirit that leads to loving relationships. At the end of the day, life is all about relationships. I said it before, how you're like when you're in business, you have a relationship with your customers, your employees, your lenders, suppliers, right? So it's all about relationships. And that's one of the major things that we actually learn in reading the E-Myth Enterprise. Life is all about relationships. So think about these relationships in the holistic community, holistic lifestyle tribe. We actually build some powerful relationships, right? There's something called your vibe will attract your tribe. So we build some powerful relationships because a lot of times you're hanging around people who don't believe or support your dreams, or people who can't see it for themselves, people who can't understand where you're going to. You barely have anybody to talk to. You barely have anybody you can actually grow and learn from, because it's like, yo, I don't even know I don't even want to talk about that. So that's why you want to get yourself in a mastermind. Now, the next book we're reading is actually Think and Grow Rich. And I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot of the principles from Think and Grow Rich. I used to read them, but I didn't understand. I just read them. But now that I'm living them out, I see them and I understand the power of a mastermind. What a mastermind does for you is sometimes you're looking at your life with the same lens. And you keep looking at it with the same lens and you keep seeing the same thing. You need some fresh pair of eyes. You need some fresh pair of ears. And that's another thing. That's what community does, right? So in the holistic lifestyle tribe, it is about cultivating a lifestyle by the habits that you build. The habits you build are also building you. So a lot of people don't realize it, that your life is a sum total of all habits, which means it's what you do every day. Okay? So if you transform your habits, you're going to transform your life. If you add some practices, you're like what? Simple stuff, nothing crazy, like movement, like journaling, like juicing. We're like, that's a practice? Yeah, I call juicing a practice, right? And then I call the juicer a tool. So if you add some holistic tools, some practices, and you also add you put that all in a routine, it's going to be transformative. So that's kind of what I help people do. I help people transform their lives. I help people lose weight. I help people overcome mental fog, stress, anxiety, depression. I help people get from a state of not believing in themselves to believing in themselves. All of these are only outcomes from transforming the way you rise up. All of these are outcomes from transforming your holistic habits. All of these are outcomes from making certain shifts. And that's what I do consistently daily in the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe. Okay, so I definitely invite you all to try out tomorrow. There's a free 7-day trial to the Holistic Lifestyle Tribe where you can get access to our Zoom call. Now, I just mentioned to you earlier that this is what I do. So tomorrow, you can actually get access to a community where you're going to be able to tap in for mindful movement, personal development, affirmations, right? So tomorrow is going to be free. So I want everybody on here to tap in. That same number that's below. Make sure you text RISE to 561-510-9605. I want you to text RISE to 561-510-9605. All right, once you do that, you're going to get access to the Rise and Prime session. So that's going to be tomorrow. We're going to have Rise and Prime. I want to invite you to come. Don't miss out. I'll see you there. So thank y'all for tapping into this holistic book club review. And I want to remind you that you have the unlimited power within you to achieve whatever it is that you want, to create the person that you want to be. But first, you have to believe it in order to achieve it. And until that happens, the world will forever miss all your talents, all your gifts, and all the great things that you have to offer. So remember, let your light shine. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. It's the Holistic Motivator, and I'm out. Peace.